This is a true story. 5 divers were just beginning their dive when at the very moment they opened the pipe, the immense pressure difference suddenly sucked them and all their equipment in like a powerful black hole. Fortunately, they stopped higher up and the seawater hadn't completely filled the area, leaving some oxygen to breathe. When the 5 regained consciousness, they found 2 companions had broken bones from the impact. The others had various degrees of abrasions. Facing the pitch-black oil and water-filled pipe, someone said, "Instead of waiting to die, let's fight." This brought a glimmer of hope to the desperate atmosphere. So they endured the pain and crawled forward like centipedes. An hour later, Chris at the front noticed the water level rising. Moving forward requires diving into the water, but the diving equipment for 5 people was long gone. Even worse, the distance ahead was unknown and 2 teammates were injured. Any mistake in the water could mean death for everyone. Chris made the decision to dive alone, promising to return with help if he managed to make it out safely. If he didn't return, it meant he had perished. As Chris felt the suffocation growing stronger, he reached a second air chamber. Gasping for air, he saw that the pipe ahead was almost completely flooded with water. After a brief rest, Chris took a deep breath and dove underwater. As the oxygen in his lungs depleted, Chris was in agony. Luckily, his hand suddenly touched something. Upon closer inspection, it was an oxygen tank. Hope ignited in Chris's heart, and he swam forward with all his might. After half an hour, the pipe's end was still nowhere in sight, and his oxygen was running out. Perhaps by luck, he found another oxygen tank. Ignoring the mixed smell of oil and seawater, he put the tube in his mouth and continued groping in the dark. After more than 20 minutes, Chris was thrilled to find he had reached a bend in the pipe. With a mix of anxiety and excitement, he swam upward. Success or failure hinged on this. Shortly after Chris broke the surface of the water, he used all his strength to call for help. By this time, over 2 hours had passed since they were sucked into the pipe. Colleagues on the ship noticed something was wrong and entered the diving bell to search. They found Chris just in time. Once rescued, Chris informed his colleagues about the situation inside the pipe and pleaded with the oil company to organize a rescue. He then collapsed from exhaustion and fell into a coma. When he woke up in the hospital, he first inquired about the rescue. The response he received made him furious. The company sent people to check the underwater situation. They received responses from the trapped individuals by knocking on the pipe. However, the pipe was so narrow that a rescue operation would be impossible without first dismantling the entire pipe. To protect the company's interests, the higher-ups decided to abandon the rescue. 5 days later, the oil company announced that all 4 trapped individuals had died. A forensic autopsy later revealed that they had held on until the 4th day, ultimately dying in despair. This should have been a world-shocking successful rescue case, but it turned into a tragedy due to greed. The sole survivor took the company to court, but the case remains unresolved, with the trial date postponed to January 2025. This is a true story. 5 divers were just beginning their dive when at the very moment they opened the pipe, the immense pressure difference suddenly sucked them and all their equipment in like a powerful black hole. Fortunately, they stopped higher up and the seawater hadn't completely filled the area, leaving some oxygen to breathe. When the 5 regained consciousness, they found 2 companions had broken bones from the impact. The others had various degrees of abrasions.